Welcome. It's great to have you joining us today on English Rise podcast.
Hey, English learners. Welcome back to the English Rise podcast. This is your right place to learn easy English through real conversations and improve your life at the same time. I am Anna.
And I am Tom. Here, we help you speak more naturally, think more clearly, and feel more confident in English.
So today, I want to talk about something very simple, but also a little frustrating. Have you ever planned to do something important, like study, work, or even just focus for 1 hour, and then somehow you just don't do it?
Yeah, that happens a lot. And the strange thing is, it's not like we don't know what we should do. We know it, but we still don't do it.
Exactly. Like you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to focus now. And then 5 minutes later, you're checking your phone or watching videos or doing something completely different.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't even realize it. You just do it automatically, and later you think, wait, what just happened?
I feel like this happens to me a lot when I'm a little stressed or tired. I don't even really want to check my phone, but I still do it.
That's interesting, because I think for me, it's more like a habit. Like my brain just wants something easy and comfortable in that moment.
Yeah, and then later you feel a bit bad about it. Like, I had time, but I didn't use it well.
Exactly. And then we say the same thing again. Okay, tomorrow I will do better.
Yes, tomorrow is always the perfect day.
But then tomorrow comes, and sometimes the same thing happens again.
So that makes me think, why is it actually so hard to control ourselves? Like, if we know what's good for us, why don't we just do it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Because it's not just about studying or work. It's in many small things in daily life.
Right, like eating when you're not really hungry, or saying something quickly and then later thinking, I shouldn't have said that.
Or even spending money on something you don't really need just because you feel like it in that moment.
So maybe the problem is not that we don't know. Maybe it's something deeper than that.
Yeah, maybe it's about how we react in the moment and how much control we really have over our actions.
So today, we're going to talk about self-control, why it's so important in real life, and also how we can slowly improve it in a simple and realistic way.
And if you enjoy these kinds of real conversations, you can subscribe and join us.
Yeah, and I think this topic is really important because it's something we all experience, but we don't always understand it clearly. Like for me, the most confusing part is this feeling that I already know what I should do, but I still don't do it.
Yeah, that's actually the most interesting part. It's not a lack of knowledge, it's something else. It's like there's a small gap between what we know and what we actually do.
Exactly, and sometimes that gap feels really big. Like you make a plan, you feel motivated, and then when the moment comes, you just don't follow it.
And then later you look back and think, why didn't I just do it? It wasn't even that hard.
Yes, and that's where the frustration comes in, because you start to feel like maybe the problem is you, like maybe you're just not disciplined enough.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people feel that way. They think, I'm just not strong enough, or I don't have enough self-control.
I've definitely felt that before. Like when I waste time or avoid something important, I feel a little guilty, like I disappointed myself.
Guilt is a big part of this, I think, because it's not just about the action, it's also about how we feel after it.
Right. Like in the moment, it feels easy, even comfortable, but later you feel regret.
Exactly. In the moment, your brain is like, this is fine, this is easy, just relax. But later, your mind changes, and you start judging yourself.
And then comes that sentence, okay, tomorrow will be different.
Yeah, we all know that sentence.
But the problem is, if we don't understand why this keeps happening, we just repeat the same cycle again and again.
That's true. And I think one important thing to understand is that in those moments, we are not really thinking deeply. We're just reacting.
Reacting to what?
To feelings, to small impulses, to whatever feels easier at that moment, like boredom, stress, or even just habit.
That makes sense, because now that I think about it, most of my bad decisions are not planned. They just happen quickly.
Exactly. They are fast decisions. You don't sit and think, okay, I will now waste 1 hour on my phone.
Yes, no one plans that.
It just happens. One small action, then another, and suddenly a lot of time is gone.
And then you feel like you lost control.
Yeah, that's the feeling. Like things just went out of control for a moment.
I think that's the part that people don't talk about enough. It's not always about being lazy. Sometimes it really feels like you just couldn't stop yourself.
That's a very important point, because when people think about self-control, they often think it's just about being strict or strong all the time.
Yeah, like just control yourself. But it's not that simple.
Exactly. If it were that simple, everyone would do it. But in reality, there's always something happening inside us in that moment.
So maybe instead of asking, why am I so bad at this, we should ask, what is happening in that moment when I lose control?
Yeah, that's a much better question. Because when we understand that moment, we can start to change it.
So it's not really about being perfect all the time.
No, not at all. It's more about becoming aware of those small moments when things start to go in the wrong direction.
That's interesting, because those moments are usually very small, right?
Exactly. Very small, but very powerful. And if we don't notice them, they control our actions without us even realizing it.
So maybe self-control is not about big decisions. Maybe it's about those small moments we don't pay attention to.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to see it. And once you start noticing those moments, you begin to understand why it's actually so difficult to stay in control.
So why is it actually so difficult? I mean, if we notice those moments, why do we still choose the wrong thing?
I think one big reason is this. We naturally choose what feels good now instead of what's good for us later.
Yeah, that's true. Like, in the moment, watching videos feels good, but studying doesn't.
Exactly. Your brain is always looking for the easier, more comfortable option. Something quick, something enjoyable, something that doesn't require effort.
So it's not that we don't care about our goals, it's just that the easy choice feels stronger in that moment.
Yes, that's a good way to say it. The present moment feels more real, more powerful than the future.
That explains a lot. Because when I think about my goals, I feel motivated. But when I'm actually doing something difficult, I just want to stop.
Yeah, because in that moment, your brain is like, this is uncomfortable. Let's do something easier.
So it's not just about laziness, it's also about avoiding discomfort.
Exactly. A lot of the time, we're not chasing pleasure. We're escaping something uncomfortable.
That's interesting. So like, if I feel stressed, I might check my phone, not because I really want to, but because I don't want to feel that stress.
Yes, exactly. The action is not always about the thing itself. It's about how it makes you feel.
That actually makes me think differently. Because I used to think, why am I wasting time? But maybe the better question is, what am I trying to avoid right now?
Yeah, that's a much deeper question. And once you understand that, your behavior starts to make more sense.
But then, does that mean we just need to be stronger? Like, just push through those feelings?
I'm not sure I fully agree with that. I don't think it's only about being stronger.
Really? Why not?
Because if it was only about strength, then people would just use willpower and fix everything. But in reality, willpower doesn't last very long.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I feel very strong in the morning, but at night, I just give up.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. During the day, you make many decisions, and slowly, your mental energy goes down.
So, the more decisions we make, the harder it becomes to control ourselves?
Yes, that's what usually happens. By the end of the day, your brain is tired, and it just wants the easiest option.
That explains why bad habits often happen at night, like eating too much or wasting time.
Yes, that's very common.
So, if willpower is not enough, then what actually helps?
I think one important idea is this. People who have strong self-control don't always rely on willpower. They make things easier for themselves.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, they change their environment. They remove distractions. Or they make good habits easier to follow.
Oh, so instead of fighting the problem again and again, they try to avoid the situation?
Exactly. For example, if your phone distracts you, you don't keep it next to you and fight the urge. You just put it somewhere else.
That actually sounds much easier.
It is easier. And that's the point. Self-control becomes easier when you don't rely only on being strong all the time.
So maybe the people we think are very disciplined are not always stronger. They just set up their life in a smarter way?
Yes, I think that's very true. They understand their weaknesses and they plan around them.
I like that idea because it feels more realistic. Not like you have to be perfect, just more aware.
Exactly. And once you start seeing self-control this way, it becomes less about pressure and more about understanding yourself.
I really like that idea because for a long time I thought self-control means you have to be very strict with yourself. Like no mistakes, no breaks, just always doing the right thing.
Yeah, a lot of people think like that. But actually, that kind of thinking can make things even harder.
Really? How?
Because when you try to be perfect, you put too much pressure on yourself. And then when you make one small mistake, it feels like everything is ruined.
Oh, yes, I know that feeling. Like, if I plan to study for 2 hours and I waste 20 minutes, I feel like the whole plan is broken.
Exactly. And then what happens? You think, okay, today is already bad. I'll start again tomorrow.
Yes, that tomorrow again.
Yeah, and that's how the cycle continues.
So maybe the problem is not the mistake, but how we react to the mistake?
Yes, that's a very important point. Losing control once is normal, but giving up completely after that, that's where the real problem starts.
That makes a lot of sense, because I think many people feel like they failed just because of one small moment.
Exactly. But self-control is not about being perfect all the time. It's about coming back after you lose control.
I like that. Coming back. It feels more realistic.
Yes, because everyone loses control sometimes. The difference is what you do after that moment.
So instead of saying, I failed, we should say, okay, I made a mistake, now I continue.
Exactly. That small shift in thinking can change everything.
I think another important thing is understanding your own patterns. Like, when do you usually lose control?
Yes, that's very important. Because self-control problems don't happen randomly. They follow patterns.
Yeah, like for me, it's usually when I feel tired or a little overwhelmed.
Same here. For me, it's often when I have too many things to do. Then I avoid everything and do something easy instead.
So if we know our weak moments, we can prepare for them?
Exactly. Instead of being surprised every time, you start expecting it.
That's interesting, because then it doesn't feel like something is wrong with me. It just feels like, okay, this is my pattern.
Yes, and once you see it clearly, you can start changing it slowly.
But I think sometimes people try to change everything at once, like they want to fix all their habits in one day.
Yeah, and that usually doesn't work.
Why do you think that happens?
Because it's too much. When you try to control everything, your brain gets tired very quickly, and then you go back to old habits.
So it's better to focus on one small thing?
Yes, just one thing at a time. Something simple, something realistic.
Like, instead of saying, I will never use my phone again, you can say, I will not use my phone for the next 30 minutes.
Exactly. Small control is still control.
That feels much easier, and also more possible.
Yes, and those small wins slowly build confidence.
So in a way, self-control is not about one big decision, it's about many small decisions every day.
That's right. And the more you practice those small decisions, the easier it becomes over time.
I think that's a really important idea, because it makes self-control feel less scary.
Exactly. It's not something you suddenly have. It's something you build step by step.
And maybe that's the key. Not trying to be perfect, but just trying to be a little better in those small moments.
Yes. And once you understand that, self-control stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like a skill you can actually learn.
Yeah. Actually, this reminds me of something that happened to me recently. It's a very small thing, but I think it explains this idea really well.
Oh yeah? What happened?
So, a few days ago, I planned to sit down and finish an important task. Nothing too difficult, just something I had been delaying for a while.
Okay.
I told myself, just 1 hour, focus, finish it, and then you can relax. It sounded simple.
Yeah, that sounds very reasonable.
But then I sat down, opened my laptop, and after maybe 5 minutes, I picked up my phone.
Yeah, that's how it usually starts.
Exactly. I told myself, just 1 minute, I'll quickly check something.
And it was not 1 minute, right?
Of course not. It turned into 10 minutes, then 20, and then almost 1 hour was gone.
Yeah, that feeling is very familiar.
And the worst part was, I knew what I was doing. Like, in my mind, I was thinking, you should stop, go back to your work.
But you didn't stop.
No, I didn't. And that's the part that really bothered me. After that, I felt a bit frustrated. Like, why is this so hard? It's such a small thing. I wasn't even tired. I wasn't busy. I just couldn't control myself in that moment.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we were talking about earlier. That small moment where things slowly go out of control.
Yes. But then I noticed something interesting. The problem didn't start when I was using my phone. It started the moment I said, just 1 minute.
Ah, that first small decision.
Exactly. That tiny moment when I could have stopped, but I didn't.
That's a very important realization.
Yeah. And after that, I didn't try to be perfect. I didn't say, okay, no phone ever again.
That would be too much.
Exactly. Instead, the next time I sat down to work, I just put my phone in another room.
Simple but effective.
Yes. And it felt so much easier. I didn't have to fight myself again and again. The temptation was just not there.
Yeah, that's a great example of changing your environment instead of only using willpower.
And I think that was the biggest lesson for me. It's not always about being stronger. Sometimes it's just about being smarter with your choices.
Exactly. And those small changes can make a big difference over time.
And I think this is where many people get stuck, because they try to change everything at once instead of focusing on small, simple changes.
Yeah, that's a very common mistake. People feel motivated, and then they say, okay, from tomorrow, I will do everything perfectly.
Yes, big plans, big energy, and then after a few days, everything stops.
Exactly, because it's too much pressure. And when something feels too hard, we naturally avoid it.
So maybe the better way is to start small, like really small, even if it feels almost too easy.
Yes, because small actions are easier to repeat, and repetition is what actually builds self-control over time.
That makes sense, because if something is easy, you don't need to fight yourself so much.
Exactly. And another important thing is creating a small pause before you act.
Pause?
Yeah, like when you feel the urge to do something, instead of acting immediately, you just wait for a few seconds.
That sounds simple, but also a little difficult in the moment.
It is difficult at first, but even a few seconds can change your decision.
So instead of reacting quickly, you give yourself a little time to think?
Yes, exactly. That small pause creates space, and in that space, you can choose differently.
I like that, because earlier we said that most bad decisions happen very quickly.
Right. So slowing down even a little can help a lot.
I think another helpful thing is understanding your triggers. Like, when do you usually lose control?
Yes, that's very important. Because if you know your weak moments, you can prepare for them.
For example, if you know you get distracted when your phone is near you, you can just keep it away before you start working.
Exactly. Make the good choice easier and the bad choice harder.
That actually makes self-control feel less stressful. It's not like you have to fight yourself all the time.
Yes, because if you are always fighting yourself, you will get tired. But if you change your environment, things become more natural.
And I think one more important thing is not being too hard on yourself.
Yeah, that's very important.
Because sometimes people lose control once and then they think, that's it, I failed.
Exactly. But losing control once doesn't mean you failed completely.
It just means you're human.
Yes. And what really matters is what you do after that moment.
So instead of giving up, you just come back and try again.
Exactly. That's how real progress happens. Slowly, step by step.
So if we look at all of this together, self-control is not about being perfect. It's about small choices, small pauses, and understanding yourself better.
Yes. And making things easier for yourself instead of harder.
So now I'm really curious. Viewers, what about you?
Yeah, we'd love to know your experience.
When do you usually lose self-control? Is it when you feel stressed, bored, or maybe tired?
And what helps you stay focused? Do you use any small tricks or habits that work for you?
Do you agree with us, or do you see it differently?
You can share your thoughts and experiences with us. We'd really like to read them.
All right, so before we finish, let's quickly look at some useful English from our conversation.
Yeah. These are simple phrases, but you can use them in real life.
Okay, the first one is give in. It means to stop resisting something and do it.
For example, I didn't want to eat more, but I gave in and had another piece of cake.
Nice. The second phrase is stay on track. It means to continue doing what you planned without getting distracted.
Example, I want to stay on track with my studies this week.
Great. The next one is out of control. It means something is not controlled anymore. It's going too far.
Example, my screen time is getting out of control these days.
Very relatable. The next phrase is hold yourself back. It means to stop yourself from doing something.
For example, I wanted to say something, but I held myself back.
And the last one is break a habit. It means to stop doing something you do regularly, especially something not good.
Example, it's hard to break a habit, but it's possible with time.
So try to use these phrases in your daily life, even in simple sentences.
Yeah, the more you use them, the more natural your English will become.
All right, now it's time for a little speaking practice.
Yeah, this is your chance to actually use English, not just listen.
So here's the first question. Do you find it easy to control yourself, or is it difficult for you?
Second question, when do you usually lose self-control? Is it when you feel stressed, bored, or tired?
And one more, what helps you stay focused or stay on track?
Now you can pause the video and try to answer these questions out loud.
Don't worry about being perfect. Just speak in a simple way.
For example, you can say something like, I think it's difficult for me to control myself, especially when I feel tired.
Or, I usually lose self-control when I'm bored, so I try to keep myself busy.
Or even, I try to stay on track by keeping my phone away when I study.
Just simple sentences. That's enough.
And if you want to improve your English through real conversations like this,
Make sure you subscribe and keep practicing with us.
all right, so let's do a quick recap of today's conversation.
Today, we talked about self-control, and we learned that it's not about being perfect all the time.
Yeah, it's more about those small moments where you choose what to do.
And instead of being too hard on yourself, it's better to understand your habits and make small changes.
Exactly, like creating a pause, changing your environment, and starting with small steps.
And you also learned some useful phrases like give in, stay on track, and hold yourself back.
Try to use these in your daily life, even in simple conversations.
Because step by step, your English will improve, and so will your self-control.
Exactly. Just take it one small step at a time, and don't be too hard on yourself.
And if you want to keep improving your English in a simple and natural way,
Make sure you subscribe and join us for more real conversations like this.
keep learning, keep growing.
And we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.